guys, welcome back to Mark Anthony's Music Picks. We're on episode 14 now. I just wanted to knock one out and quickly go through some of the scores that I made during quarantine. I found that when everybody was first told to work from home back in second week, third week of March, there were some deals popping up on Discogs. I guess some people were a little bit worried about making their rent payments, so I was able to get a couple deals. I also was placing some Juno orders, and thankfully their shipments are still coming from across the pond. So the first one that I got that I think is really cool and worth checking out is a 4-track remix EP, and this is by an artist named Automat or Automate. I'm not entirely sure. There's a remix on the A1 and the A2 from artists that I've never heard of before. Patrick Pulsinger remix on the A1, which is like a spaced out dub techno that's a little bit club oriented. There's an A2, which is more on the straight up techno side by Shirok Medusa that I really like on this. And on the B side, Ricardo Villalobos, who I just talked about a couple episodes ago, has the B1 and the B2. I actually like the B1. The B2, not feeling that at all, but 3 out of 4 isn't bad. And there's also a second set of releases that are coming out, remixes that are coming out for this Automat remix package, and I also ordered that from Juno. So definitely give this a try. I'm not saying this is gonna like blow your mind forever, but if you want some nice new remixes to enjoy, this is a recommendation for me. Next up, I scored on one of my favorite deep house labels of all time, and I use that term very discerningly. This is on Deep Explorer. This is Auji Industries Primitive Reflex EP. I got this for $5 and I'm pretty sure that it's still dirt cheap. This is like top-notch, really high quality deep house. And when I say deep house, I mean utterly deep. It's generally, this label operates lower than 120 beats per minute, and they have real like fat, warm kick drums, and it's perfect for listening on a Sunday afternoon. Like today, it's 75 degrees here in Pennsylvania, sunny out. I got the windows open, and this release is perfect. There's even a down-tempo track, which I believe is the B2, that's really nice. So I highly recommend this. If you're into Deep Explorer, Deep Explorer, check out their whole back catalog. If you have an hour, just sit there and be patient and go through some of their releases. I think I have 6 or 7 of their records. You have Leo Gunn on there. Check out the Leo Gunn releases, and just some of the random artists that you may have never heard of before are on Deep Explorer. Nice artwork. Got the 2 like goldfish going on there. I think this is a really good deal for $5, and I'm definitely gonna hang on to this hopefully forever. I love it. Next up, there was a offer from Joe Claussell. If you follow his Sacred Rhythm label and if you subscribe to his Bandcamp, he put out a notice when the crisis began to you could pay $1 for a couple of random CDs, and you just had to pay the shipping. So $6, you get 2 CDs, you don't know what they are. I've actually been waiting to open this for the sake of this video, so let's see what I got real quick. I actually got one that I was hoping for. So I got Electric Africa, the Bayara Citizens. I was actually thinking about getting this on vinyl. I just didn't because the price tag was a little high, but I'm actually very excited that I got this because I wanted it. And let's see what else I got. It looks like the Un.Chained Rhythms CD. This is probably very old, 2007. Got this too. So yeah, if you want to get 2 random CDs, what Joe's doing is taking the proceeds from all the shipping and handling, and I guess the couple dollars here and there that he's getting from the orders, and he's donating them to people that are having trouble making rent or paying medical bills due to COVID. So charitable cause, and support Joe. He's awesome. I also, I'm gonna diverge from the record thing for a little bit. I also picked up a new cartridge and needle. I got the Ortofon Concorde MK2 club needle. It's yellow and black, kind of has this Killer Bee you know, color combination going on. So far, it sounds great. I have to admit, I'm not an audiophile, so, you know, it's not like I'm listening to records on some $2,000 rig. I just have Technics 1200s M3Ds on both sides. And I can tell when a record sounds like shit or when a needle is on its way out. This sounds very clear. Vocal records sound sharp to me. What I've noticed is when a needle is starting to wear out, or if a record is bad, where it will be compromised is in the mid-range, generally the upper mid-range or the bottom end of the treble, and that would be your vocal tracks. So if I want to test a needle, I'll put on a big vocal and see how it sounds. If I hear any clipping in there, I know it's either the pressing is bad or the needle is bad. This sounds great. I recommend this. It's a little pricey, but maybe it's worth it. Replacement needles, it looks like you can get a pair for 120. That's pretty rough, but overall, I'm happy with it so far. So if anything happens with it, I'll update you guys. So far, so good. Back to the records. The next one that I wanted to talk about is this 1995 record, and I can't even remember how I got this, or I'm sorry, how I got the recommendation for this. It might have been somebody on a forum somewhere mentioned it years and years ago, and I added it to my want list, but I didn't listen to it, and it wasn't until it came up in my want list. I was kind of scouring Discogs. I sorted by price, low to high, and I just wanted to see if I could get any good records for $5. So I got this Shades of Love, Keep in Touch, Body to Body, 1995 record, and the original is by a trio called Shades of Love that only seems to have released singles from what I can see on Discogs. They released 4 singles. This one, the original, was in 1982, and then for some reason in 1995, a bunch of people started remixing it. I see on Discogs Junior Vasquez, George Lanes, who I mentioned in the Mike Huckabee tribute, made these 2 remixes, and the one that you want to check out on here is the Mental Mix. It has a really cool, energetic bass line. It has the good original vocals, and for a 1995 house track, this sounds really good. This has aged really well. I would have no qualms playing this in a modern set. And if you think about it, I mean, try to make a record now that's going to sound good 25 years from now. You know, good luck with that. So props to George Lane for making something that has withstood the test of time. $5, $6 still on Discogs. Highly recommend. If you like straight up New York vocal house, like pure house, straight up house, give this a listen. Next up, artist that I've followed for a while, but admittedly don't have as many of his records as I should. Marko Furstenberg. He released this record in his typical club-oriented dub techno fashion. This is called the Repentance EP, and it's on Artless. If you notice, I'm presenting this in a white inner sleeve. That's because the original sleeve that this came with had a leather patch square on it. And that patch, after sitting for 12 years, the glue soaked through onto the record. So I had to clean that up, and I decided to just abandon the original sleeve because I would rather have a record with no glue on it than have the original sleeve. I don't know what the significance of the leather patch is. I don't know that it... Who knows why it's on there. But the track that I like on here is the one that's called 2006. It's energetic, kind of dark dub techno, and like I said, club oriented, so it would work well in a set. The other side is a little bit basic channel, Maurizio M5 sounding, which isn't really it's not really my jam for dub techno. I don't have any aversion to it, but not for me. But for, you know, $6, $7, check out that track 2006. I recommend that. And lastly, the most recent score that I made was by Wolfgang Voigt. And this to me is one of the lesser known in his catalog. This basically sounds like a gas record that's not labeled as a gas record. It's the release is called Magazine 7. I'm gonna butcher the single name, Rückversäuberung, 6.1, 6.2, and 6.3. The A side is if you're really into gas, you'll like this record, generally speaking. The A side is ambient with no kick at all. And then the B side, which is the longest duration, has that trademark gas ghost kick where it's sort of there and it's kind of rumbling and you can hear the high end of it and the very, very low end of it, but there's nothing in the middle. It's like all filtered out in the middle. Highly recommend this. It has a very dark kind of opera vibe going on the A side, like a female opera singer voice converted into a drone sound, really spooky. And on the cover here you can see it, you know, they went with the black and white aesthetic and just some creepy looking German industrial stuff. There's like a random monkey. I don't know what's going on, but really cool. I spent 25 on this. I've been keeping an eye on this for a while. It was listing for 40 and I finally was able to get a deal on it. Got a really nice near mint copy. So yeah, that's all I have for today. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I also wanted to recommend something regarding my mix. Oh, I can't remember. Okay, I'll mention that next episode. Like and subscribe, and as always, I'll have clips down below for all the Discogs links, so you can go and check and listen to any samples that you want to check out. And until then, I'll see you next time. Take care.